A man with a knife just killed a passenger on her plane. He's screaming at Captain Rachel Torres to open the cockpit door or more people die. She refuses. Then two military helicopters fly up beside her aircraft. The pilots radio in, shocked, "Falcon? Is that really you?" The terrorists don't know it yet, but they just hijacked the wrong plane. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The Boeing 737 cuts through morning sky like it was born there. Captain Rachel Torres runs her pre-flight checklist with the same precision she's brought to 4,000 flights before this one. Switches. Gauges. Fuel calculations. Everything green. Everything perfect. American Airlines Flight 634, Miami to New York, departure 0945 hours, arrival 1245 hours. 2 hours and 43 minutes of routine. She glances at First Officer Ben Walsh. He's young, early 30s, still has that eager brightness that 5 years of airline flying hasn't dimmed yet. Good kid. Competent. Asks smart questions. Doesn't know when to shut up about his fantasy football team, but nobody's perfect. Looks good, Captain, Ben says, tapping the fuel display. Weather's clear all the way up the coast. Should be a smooth ride. Rachel nods. Let's make it boring. Boring is good. Boring means everyone gets home. Boring means she can grab lunch in New York, head back to Miami tonight, sleep in her own bed. Boring means the only thing she has to think about is airspeed and altitude and whether the coffee in the crew lounge is still terrible. Boring means she doesn't have to remember. She keys the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Torres. Welcome aboard Flight 634 with service to New York LaGuardia. Flight time today is approximately 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're expecting smooth air and clear skies. Sit back, relax, and we'll have you there right on schedule." Professional. Calm. The voice passengers want to hear, someone in control, someone who's done this 1,000 times, someone who makes flying feel as safe as riding an elevator. What they don't hear is the other voice. The one that still knows how to bark commands over gunfire. The one that once coordinated helicopter insertions in mountains where the air was too thin and the enemy too close. The one that earned a call sign spoken with reverence by soldiers who knew what it meant when Falcon was coming to get them. That voice died 6 years ago. Rachel made sure of it. The tower clears them for pushback. Ben handles the radio calls while Rachel monitors. Standard procedure. Division of labor. He's learning the rhythms, when to talk, when to listen, when to let silence do the work. American 634, cleared for takeoff runway 9, comes through the headset. Cleared for takeoff, 634, Ben responds. Rachel advances the throttles. The engines spool up, that familiar building roar. The aircraft rolls forward, picking up speed, 80 knots, 100, 120, V1, committed now, VR, rotate. The nose lifts. The ground falls away. Miami shrinks beneath them, all glass towers and turquoise water and palm trees that look like green pinpricks. Gear up. Flaps up. Climb power set. Positive rate, Ben calls. Gear up, Rachel confirms. They punch through scattered clouds at 3,000 feet. The Atlantic spreads out to their right, endless blue meeting endless blue at a horizon that curves just enough to remind you the earth is round and you're flying above it. Rachel settles into the left seat, hands light on the yoke. The aircraft climbs smoothly toward their cruising altitude of 37,000 feet. This is the part she loves, the quiet moments after departure, when the chaos of ground operations fades and it's just you and the sky and the simple beauty of flight. Coffee? Ben asks, reaching for his thermos. Black, 2 sugars, Rachel says. I know. He grins. I've been your FO for 6 months now, Captain. I know your coffee order, your pre-landing checklist quirks, and the fact that you hate when I talk about football during approach. Smart man. Ben pours from his thermos into her cup, a minor violation of regulations, but one every crew commits. The coffee is terrible, as always, but it's hot and it's caffeinated, and that's all that matters at 15,000 feet in the morning. You ever miss the Air Force? Ben asks suddenly. Rachel's hand freezes on her coffee cup for half a second. Then she takes a sip. Why do you ask? I don't know. You fly different than everyone else. More precise. Like you're always expecting something to go wrong. Something can always go wrong, Rachel says carefully. That's why we train. Yeah, but... Ben trails off. Never mind. Stupid question. It's not stupid. It's perceptive. Ben sees what most people don't, that beneath the commercial pilot exterior, there's someone else. Someone who learned to fly in places where mistakes meant body bags. Someone who knows that clear skies can turn hostile in seconds, and the only thing standing between life and death is training and skill and the refusal to quit when everything goes to hell. But that someone retired. That someone hung up her flight suit and her call sign and her memories of burning helicopters and screaming soldiers and nights when she woke up certain she could still smell blood and cordite. Rachel Falcon Torres died 6 years ago. Only Captain Rachel Torres remains. Level at 37,000, Ben announces, interrupting her thoughts. Rachel confirms the altitude, engages autopilot, and leans back. Out the window, the Atlantic glitters. Somewhere down there, a container ship cuts a white wake through blue water. Somewhere, people are having ordinary days, working, shopping, arguing about what to have for dinner. Somewhere, life is beautifully, wonderfully boring. She checks the time. 1,018 hours. 23 minutes into the flight. 1 hour and 57 minutes until landing. Everything is perfect. Behind her, in the main cabin, 198 passengers settle into their flights. Business travelers tap on laptops. Tourists flip through magazines. A mother tries to keep her toddler entertained with an iPad. An elderly couple holds hands across the armrest, married so long they don't need words. In seat 12A, a man with cold eyes and steady hands waits. The call comes at 1,033 hours. Rachel is reviewing the descent profile for LaGuardia when the intercom chimes, 3 short bursts, the signal from the cabin that means we need to talk now. She keys the response, flight deck. It's Sarah Chen, the lead flight attendant. Her voice is tight, controlled, but Rachel catches the tremor underneath. Captain, we have a situation. Passenger in 12A is acting aggressively. Demanding access to the cockpit. Making threats. Rachel's stomach clenches. What kind of threats? He says he has a device. He's demanding we open the cockpit door immediately, or, Sarah's voice drops to a whisper. Or he'll detonate. Ben's head snaps toward Rachel. His face drains of color. This is every pilot's nightmare, the scenario they train for but pray never happens. The moment when routine becomes catastrophe. Rachel's training kicks in instantly. Her voice stays calm, measured, but her hands are already moving across the instrument panel. Sarah, do not approach him. Keep other passengers away. We're going to handle this. Stand by. She switches off the intercom and meets Ben's eyes. We follow protocol. Cockpit stays sealed. No matter what. Jesus, Ben breathes. This is really. Focus. Rachel's voice cuts through his panic like a blade. I need you with me. Can you do that? Ben swallows hard. Nods. Yes. Yes, I'm good. Rachel doesn't believe him, but it'll have to do. She reaches for the transponder and sets it to 7,500, the universal code for hijacking in progress. Every air traffic control screen within 100 miles will light up with their flight number and that number. That means everything just went wrong. Then she keys the radio, Miami Center, American 634. The response is immediate, 634, go ahead. Rachel keeps her voice professional, but she puts steel underneath, Miami Center, American 634 is declaring an emergency. We are squawking 7500. Hijack threat in progress. Cockpit is secure. Repeat, cockpit is secure. Request immediate military response and priority handling to nearest suitable airport. There's a half-second pause, the controller processing the worst call they can receive. Then, 634, copy emergency and hijack. Squawking 7500 confirmed. Military assets are being notified. Maintain present heading. Stand by for vectors to Charleston International. Say souls on board and fuel remaining. 634, souls on board 198, fuel for 2 hours 15 minutes. Copy 198 souls. 634, be advised, we are declaring emergency on your behalf. All traffic is being cleared from your flight path. Military fighter assets scrambling from Homestead. Estimate intercept in 12 minutes. Do you require immediate descent? 12 minutes. An eternity when someone's threatening to kill everyone aboard. Behind the cockpit door, something heavy slams against the reinforced structure. Then a voice, cold and accented, Eastern European maybe, Captain. I know you can hear me. You have 10 seconds to unlock this door. Rachel doesn't respond. She's checking systems, running calculations, preparing for every possible scenario. Land immediately. Fight back. Negotiate. Crash the aircraft. Every option is terrible. Every option ends with people dead. But one option is worse than all the others, letting him into this cockpit. 8 seconds, Captain. The voice is louder now, angry. I am not bluffing. 7. 6. Ben's hand hovers over the door lock. Rachel, what if he really has? He doesn't get in. Rachel's voice is granite. Ever. That's the rule. We don't trade controls for lives because the moment he's flying this aircraft, everyone dies anyway. 5. 4. Rachel keys the intercom, speaking directly into the cabin, this is Captain Torres. I will not open this door under any circumstances. To the passenger making threats, you cannot fly this aircraft. You cannot access this cockpit. Any harm you do to passengers will not change that fact. We are diverting to Charleston with law enforcement waiting. Your only option is to sit down and await arrest. The voice outside explodes with rage, you think I care about arrest? You think I fear your police? I have 3 passengers here. Right here in front of your door. I have a knife at their throats. Through the door, Rachel hears crying. Begging. A woman's voice, please, please don't hurt us. Shut up. The hijacker screams. Then, to Rachel, you have 30 seconds, Captain. 30 seconds to open this door or I start killing them. And I know you're a woman. Women always break. Women always choose feelings over mission. So you will open this door because you cannot live with their blood on your hands. Rachel closes her eyes for 1 second. She's back in Afghanistan. Night insertion. Her Black Hawk taking fire from 3 directions. A wounded soldier on her radio screaming for extraction, Taliban closing in, her co-pilot bleeding from shrapnel wounds. Command telling her to abort, too dangerous, save yourself and the bird. She'd landed anyway. Loaded 7 wounded men onto a helicopter designed for 6. Took off under fire. Got them all home. The brass gave her a medal. Her call sign became legend. Falcon, the pilot who never left anyone behind. But that was different. That was war. Rules were different when everyone accepted they might die. Now she's flying civilians. Families. People who bought a ticket expecting to arrive safely. Ben is staring at her, terrified, waiting for her decision. Outside the door, the hijacker is counting down. 20 seconds. Rachel opens her eyes. Makes the call. Miami Center, 6:34. Hijacker has taken hostages at cockpit door. Threatening immediate execution. I need military intercept now. I need options that don't involve opening this door. The controller's voice is tight. 634, military helicopters are en route from Hunter Army Airfield. ETA 8 minutes. Can you maintain cockpit security until then? 8 minutes. 15 seconds, Captain. 8 minutes while a man with a knife holds passengers hostage 10 feet away. 10 seconds. Rachel switches to the military guard frequency, 121.5 MHz, the channel every military pilot monitors for emergencies. She hasn't used this frequency in 6 years. Swore she never would again. Any military aircraft on guard frequency, this is American 634. I have active hijacking with hostage situation. Threat of immediate fatalities. I need tactical support now. Static. Then a voice, sharp and professional, 634, this is Black Hawk lead, call sign Thunder. We are inbound from Hunter. ETA 5 minutes. What's your situation? 5 minutes. Better than 8. Still too long. 5 seconds. Thunder, I have hijacker in main cabin with knife and possible explosive device. 3 hostages at cockpit door. He's threatening execution in seconds. Cockpit is sealed and will remain sealed, but I need something to. Time's up, Captain. A scream. High and terrible. Then choking sounds. Wet sounds. Then silence. Sarah's voice over the intercom, breaking, sobbing, Captain, oh God, he killed her. He stabbed her. There's so much blood. Oh God, oh God. The cabin erupts into chaos. Screaming. Crying. Panic. Ben makes a strangled sound. His hand reaches for the door lock again. Rachel catches his wrist. Holds it. Her grip is iron. Don't. Rachel, he's killing people. We have to. If we open that door, he kills everyone. You know the protocol. You know the statistics. We don't negotiate with hijackers because hijackers who gain cockpit control crash aircraft into buildings. 1 death is a tragedy. 198 deaths is what happens if we break. Tears stream down Ben's face. I can't just sit here while he. You can. You will. Rachel's voice is steel wrapped in ice. Because that's what being a pilot means. We make the hard call. We save who we can save. And right now, we save 195 people by keeping him out. The hijacker's voice comes again, calmer now, satisfied. Do you hear that, Captain? That's what happens when you don't listen. I have 2 more hostages. I will kill them in 2 minutes unless you unlock that door. And then I will kill 2 more. And 2 more. Until you open up or I run out of people. Rachel keys the military frequency, her voice cold and focused. Thunder, hijacker has executed 1 passenger. Threatening to continue every 2 minutes. I need immediate tactical options. 634, we're 4 minutes out. We have door breach capability but not at altitude and airspeed. You need to slow down, descend, and. I don't have 4 minutes. Ma'am, we can't. Rachel cuts him off. Makes a decision that will either save everyone or kill them all. Thunder, I need positive identification for tactical coordination. Authorization code Sierra Hotel 27 Mike. Silence. Then, 634, please confirm your authorization. That's a special operations code. Are you? Rachel takes a breath. Speaks the name she swore she'd never use again. Thunder, this is Falcon. Complete silence. 5 seconds that feel like an hour. Then, disbelief in the pilot's voice, say again. Did you say Falcon? Affirm. Falcon. Authorization Sierra Hotel 27 Mike. Validate through SOCOM if you need confirmation, but I don't have time for verification protocols. I need tactical support and I need it now. Another voice cuts in, younger, awed, holy shit. Falcon. As in the Falcon. Night Stalker Falcon. Affirm. Thunder Lead, this is Thunder 2. Ma'am, Captain, we studied your missions at flight school. You're a goddamn legend. What do you need? Rachel's mind shifts. It's like flipping a switch that's been gathering dust for 6 years. The commercial airline captain recedes. Something older, harder, more dangerous takes her place. Thunder Flight, this is Falcon. Situation update, single hijacker, armed with at least one knife, possibly explosive device, but I assess that as low probability based on TSA screening. 1 hostage deceased, 2 remaining at cockpit door. Hijacker is threatening continued execution every 2 minutes until I surrender cockpit. I will not surrender cockpit under any circumstances. Copy all, Falcon. What's your tactical intent? Rachel is already pulling up navigational charts on her display, calculating distances, altitudes, angles of approach. Her hands move across instruments with the precision of muscle memory that never fades. Thunder, I'm going to execute an aggressive descent and course change that simulates aircraft in distress. I need you to conduct a tactical intercept that puts you visible in passenger windows, close enough to appear threatening, close enough that the hijacker believes you can breach the aircraft mid-flight. Thunder Lead hesitates. Falcon, ma'am, that's incredibly dangerous for a commercial aircraft. Descent rates, wake turbulence, passenger panic. I've flown worse, Rachel says flatly. I once landed a Black Hawk missing half its tail rotor while taking RPG fire. I can handle a 737 in clean air. Falcon, we don't doubt your capabilities, but commercial aircraft aren't designed for. Thunder, do you trust me or not? Another pause. Then, we trust Falcon. Give us your coordinates and flight path. We'll match your approach. Rachel's fingers fly across the flight management computer, programming a descent profile that's technically within the aircraft's capabilities but so far outside normal operations that it'll trigger every alarm in the cockpit and scare the hell out of everyone in back. Thunder, I'm descending from 37,000 to 10,000 feet in 3 minutes. That's 9,000 feet per minute. I'll be doing 320 knots indicated. I need you to intercept from the starboard side, crossing right to left across passenger windows. When you're in position, I'll execute a coordinated turn that puts you within 50 meters of my fuselage. 50 meters. Falcon, that's 50 meters, Thunder. The hijacker needs to believe you're about to put rounds through the cabin windows. This only works if he's convinced you're going to kill him. Ben is staring at her like she's speaking a foreign language. Rachel, we can't descend at 9,000 feet per minute. The passengers, the stress on the airframe. We'll be well within operational limits, Rachel says, her hands already on the controls. Strap in. This is going to get rough. She keys the cabin intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain. We are experiencing an in-flight emergency requiring immediate descent. Fasten your seatbelts, secure all items, and assume brace positions. Flight attendants, secure the cabin now. Then she disconnects the autopilot and pushes the yoke forward. The nose drops. Hard. The 737 pitches into a dive that makes Ben gasp. The altimeter spins counterclockwise, numbers blurring. 36,000. 34,000, 32,000. Alarms scream. Master caution lights flash. The aircraft buffets as airspeed increases past normal descent profiles. In the cabin, passengers scream. Luggage tears loose from overhead bins. The whole world tilts forward at an angle that makes your stomach crawl into your throat. The hijacker stumbles, caught off guard. Rachel hears his shout of alarm through the door. Thunder, Falcon is descending. Get me visual confirmation when you're in position. Falcon, Thunder flight is 2 minutes from intercept. Maintain your flight path. Rachel pulls back slightly on the descent rate, still aggressive, still terrifying, but she edges away from the structural limits. The aircraft shudders. The windows frost slightly as they plunge through temperature layers. 30,000 feet. 28,000, 25,000. Thunder, Falcon. Time check. 90 seconds, Falcon. We see you on radar. Jesus, that's a steep dive for a commercial bird. She'll hold together. Thunder, when you intercept, I need you to look aggressive. Door gunners visible. Weapons ready. Fly like you're about to engage. Copy, weapons visible. Falcon, we're putting on a show. Through the cockpit windows, Rachel sees them, 2 Black Hawks rising from the haze below, their rotors a blur, their dark shapes growing larger by the second. They're flying combat formation, tight and disciplined, and they're coming up fast. 22,000 feet. The Black Hawks match her descent, one on each side, then they swing wide and angle toward the passenger windows. They're close. Dangerously close. Close enough that Rachel can see the pilots' helmets, the door gunners braced at their weapons. Close enough that everyone in the cabin can see them too. Thunder is in position, Falcon. We are 50 meters off your starboard beam. Passengers definitely see us. Rachel levels out at 10,000 feet. The aircraft stabilizes. The dive is over but the chaos isn't. She keys the cabin intercom, and when she speaks, it's not the calm commercial captain anymore. It's the combat pilot. It's the voice that commanded soldiers in firefights. It's Falcon. To the hijacker, you are now surrounded by United States Army Special Operations Forces. Those helicopters outside are equipped with precision weapons and snipers trained to engage through aircraft windows. You have 10 seconds to drop your weapon and release your hostages or they will put rounds through this fuselage that remove you from this aircraft permanently. Silence in the cabin. Then the hijacker's voice, uncertain now, you're bluffing. You wouldn't risk the aircraft. Am I bluffing? Rachel rolls the aircraft 5 degrees to the right. The Black Hawks adjust instantly, maintaining their threatening position. The maneuver makes it look like the helicopters are even closer, like they're about to touch the fuselage. Those pilots are special operations. They can thread a needle at 200 knots. You think they can't put a .50 caliber round exactly where they want it? Through the door, she hears confusion. Fear. The hijacker is shouting something in another language. Thunder, give me a gun run pass. Copy, Falcon. Thunder 2, you're cleared hot for demonstration. One of the Black Hawks breaks formation, drops slightly, then accelerates forward in a gun run profile, the door gunner tracking along the fuselage with his weapon. It's pure theater, but from inside the cabin it looks real. It looks like they're about to open fire. Passengers scream again. Some duck. Some pray. The hijacker is shouting, stop. Stop. Tell them to stop. Drop the weapon. Rachel's voice is ice. You have 5 seconds. 4. 3. I drop it. I drop it. Tell them don't shoot. Sarah's voice over intercom, shaky but relieved, Captain, he dropped the knife. Passengers they're restraining him. We have him. Rachel closes her eyes. Breathes. Thunder, threat is neutralized. Hostage secured. Nice work, gentlemen. Copy, Falcon. Damn fine flying. We'll escort you to landing if you want company. I'd like that, Thunder. It's been a while since I flew with Black Hawks. Ma'am, it would be an honor. Ben is staring at her, his mouth hanging open. What the hell just happened? Who are you? Rachel doesn't answer. She's already running post-incident protocols in her head: divert to Charleston, coordinate with FBI, secure the aircraft, make sure the wounded get medical attention, write the most insane flight report in aviation history. But first, she has to fly. Charleston approach, American 634. Emergency aircraft, 1 fatality, 1 suspect in custody, requesting priority landing and medical response. 634, Charleston approach. You're cleared direct, runway 15. Emergency equipment is standing by. Welcome back, Falcon. Word travels fast in military circles. The wheels touch down at Charleston International at 1147 hours. Rachel's hands are steady on the controls. They were steady through the hijacking. Steady through the dive. Steady through the tactical coordination. But now, with the aircraft safely on the ground and the threat neutralized, she feels the tremor starting deep in her muscles. Adrenaline debt. She knows it well. The shaking comes after, when your body realizes it's been running on pure nerve and now the bill is due. The Black Hawks land alongside the runway, flanking the 737 like honor guards. It's beyond protocol. It's a statement. A salute. Emergency vehicles chase the aircraft down the runway: fire trucks, ambulances, police cars with lights flashing. Rachel brings the 737 to a stop at the designated emergency area, sets the parking brake, and starts the shutdown checklist. Her hands only shake a little. Engines shut down, Ben says quietly. His voice is hollow. He's been silent since the hijacker surrendered, processing what he just witnessed. Processing what his captain just became. FBI agents in tactical gear board the aircraft within seconds. Rachel watches through the cockpit camera as they secure the hijacker, hands zip-tied behind his back, face pressed against the floor. He's no longer the cold, confident killer. He's shaking. Defeated. One of the passengers kicked him pretty hard, Rachel notes. Good. Medical personnel rush to the deceased passenger, a woman, mid-40s, traveling alone. The flight attendants have covered her with a blanket but blood seeps through. So much blood from such a small blade. Rachel looks away. Captain Torres. A voice over the intercom. FBI. We need you to remain in the cockpit until we've secured all passengers and taken statements. Are you injured? Negative. We're fine here. Copy. This is going to take some time. Someone will be up to debrief you shortly. The FBI agent's voice sounds impressed, almost reverential. Word has spread. The agents know who she is. What she did. Ben finally speaks. You want to tell me what the hell just happened? Because I feel like I just flew with someone I don't know at all. Rachel unbuckles, stands, stretches muscles tight from tension. Through the windscreen, she sees the Black Hawk's crew standing at attention next to their aircraft. When they see her looking, they salute. She returns it instinctively. I used to fly those, she says simply. Before this. Before airlines. Used to fly Black Hawks. Rachel, you coordinated a tactical military operation from a commercial cockpit. You dove a 737 at 9,000 feet per minute. You convinced a hijacker that we were about to get shot out of the sky. That's not used to fly Black Hawks. That's something else entirely. Rachel sits back down. She's so tired. Tired in a way that sleep won't fix. My call sign was Falcon, she says quietly. I flew special operations. Combat Search and Rescue. 12 years, 89 missions. I extracted wounded soldiers from hot zones, flew into ambushes, landed helicopters in places helicopters shouldn't be able to land. On my last mission, I pulled an entire platoon out of a Taliban ambush. Took heavy fire. Lost my tail rotor. Crash landed with a bullet in my shoulder. Ben says nothing. Just listens. After that, I quit. Not because I was afraid. Because I was empty. 12 years of death and blood and soldiers screaming for help. I couldn't do it anymore. I wanted to fly without the stakes. I wanted boring. I wanted passengers who lived. And today? Today boring ended. Rachel watches the FBI agents escorting passengers off the aircraft. They're scared, traumatized, but alive. All of them alive except one. Today I had to become Falcon again. Just for a few minutes. Just long enough. A knock on the cockpit door. Rachel opens it to find an FBI agent and, behind him, a military officer. The officer is maybe 60, wearing army dress uniform with more ribbons than Rachel can count. She recognizes the rank insignia, Major General. Captain Torres. His voice is gravel and respect. Or should I say, Lieutenant Colonel Torres. You never officially accepted your promotion before you resigned. Rachel stands at attention without thinking. General. At ease. I'm General Marcus Thornton, JSOC Operations. I was CC-130 Operations Officer when you were flying. I signed off on half your missions. He steps into the cockpit, extends a hand. It's an honor to finally meet the legend in person. They shake. His grip is firm. Thunder Lead told me what you did here today. Tactical coordination under extreme pressure, creative use of military assets, calculated risk assessment, that was a masterclass in crisis management. You saved 197 lives. One died, sir. One died because a terrorist murdered her, not because of anything you did. You prevented a massacre. Don't diminish that. The FBI agent clears his throat. Captain Torres, I'm Special Agent Ramirez. We need your statement, but first I want to say, what you pulled off was extraordinary. We've been tracking this cell for months. The hijacker is Dmitry Volkov, suspected member of an extremist group planning coordinated aircraft attacks. You stopped whatever he was planning and you did it without backup, without weapons, with nothing but skill and nerves. That's going to save lives beyond this aircraft. Rachel nods slowly. It doesn't make the dead woman any less dead. We'll need detailed statements from you and your first officer, Ramirez continues. But that can wait until you've had a chance to decompress. There's a crisis counselor standing by if. I'm fine. Ramirez looks skeptical. Captain, you just experienced a traumatic. I said I'm fine. Rachel's voice is flat. I've been through worse. Write down what you need to know and I'll sign it. But I don't need therapy for doing my job. The general intervenes smoothly, Agent Ramirez, I'll vouch for the captain's stability. She's former Spec Ops. She knows how to process. He turns to Rachel. But Lieutenant Colonel, the Army would like to debrief you as well. Your tactical coordination today was, improvised, let's call it. We'd like to understand how you managed to turn a commercial aircraft into a military asset on the fly. It wasn't complicated, sir. I used resources available and convinced the enemy he was outmatched. By threatening to have military snipers shoot through a pressurized aircraft in mid-flight. He believed it. That's what mattered. Thornton laughs. It's a hard, military laugh. You always had balls, Falcon. That's why your mission succeeded when everyone else said they'd fail. His expression grows serious. We'd like you to come back. Not full-time. Contract basis. Training, consultation, maybe some mission planning. You have skills we can't teach, instincts born from experience. The kind of thing that makes the difference between success and catastrophe. Rachel shakes her head. I appreciate the offer, sir, but I retired for a reason. I'm done with that life. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you just proved you're still very much in that life. You can take the pilot out of special operations, but nothing, sir. I fly passengers now. Safely. Boringly. Today was an exception. Today was who you are, Thornton says gently. Falcon doesn't retire, Lieutenant Colonel. Falcon just changes aircraft. Before Rachel can respond, there's commotion outside the cockpit. Voices raised in argument. Then a passenger pushes past the FBI agent, a man, early 40s, wearing an expensive suit now rumpled and stained. I need to speak to the captain, he says urgently. Right now. Ramirez moves to intercept but Rachel waves him off. It's okay. What is it? The passenger's eyes are red from crying. My wife. The woman who, she was sitting next to me. We were coming back from our anniversary trip. 20 years married and she just wanted to see New York. Rachel's throat tightens. I need you to know, the man continues, voice breaking, that she was scared but she was brave. When that bastard grabbed her, she didn't beg. She told him she hoped whoever was flying would never let him win. She believed in you. Even when he had the knife to her throat, she believed you wouldn't break. Rachel has no words. Nothing she can say will bring this man's wife back or ease his pain or make any of this okay. So thank you, he whispers. Thank you for not opening that door. Thank you for proving her faith wasn't misplaced. She died believing in you and because of that, everyone else lived. That has to mean something. He walks away before Rachel can respond. Ramirez follows him gently, guiding him back to the passenger area. The cockpit is silent. Then Ben speaks, his voice rough, I wanted you to open the door. When he started killing, I wanted you to give in. I thought you were being cold. Heartless. I was. No. You were being a pilot. You made the call that saved lives even though it cost a life. I don't think I could have done that. I don't think most people could. That's why they pin wings on some people and not others, General Thornton says quietly. Captain Torres, the Black Hawk crews would like to meet you. If you're up for it. Rachel follows him out of the cockpit, down the stairs, onto the tarmac. The South Carolina sun is bright and hot. Emergency vehicles are still everywhere, but the immediate chaos has passed into the bureaucratic aftermath. The Black Hawk pilots are waiting. 4 of them, 2 crews, standing at parade rest. When Rachel approaches, they snap to attention. Thunder leads steps forward. He's younger than she expected, maybe early 30s, but his eyes have that 1,000-yard depth that comes from combat. Ma'am. Lieutenant Kozlowski, Thunder lead. That was the most impressive piece of flying I've ever witnessed. And I've witnessed a lot. You coordinated well, Lieutenant. Clean intercept, perfect formation hold. You sold the threat. We had good direction, ma'am. He grins. When you said you were Falcon, we thought someone was messing with us. Then you started issuing tactical commands and we realized, holy shit, it's actually her. Thunder 2 steps forward. She's younger, maybe 26, with sharp eyes and a confident stance. Captain Torres, I wrote my senior thesis at West Point on your rescue missions. The one where you extracted that surrounded platoon in Cunha province. We studied that for a month. The tactical decisions you made under fire, the precision flying in that terrain, that's taught as the gold standard for combat rescue. Rachel shifts uncomfortably. She never got used to being legendary. She was just trying to bring people home. I did what needed doing, she says simply. You did the impossible, Thunder 2 counters. Repeatedly. And today you did it again in a completely different aircraft with completely different stakes. That's what made you Falcon. Not just skill. The ability to adapt, improvise, and win against odds that should have broken you. The other crew members nod agreement. "Ma'am," Kozlowski says, "it would be an honor if you'd sign our helmets. We know that sounds stupid, like asking for an autograph, but you're the reason half of us became pilots. You're the standard we're trying to reach." Rachel looks at these young pilots, smart, brave, dedicated. They're the next generation of what she used to be. They'll fly into bad situations and make impossible choices and hopefully bring everyone home. "It doesn't sound stupid," she says. "It's an honor to sign." They produce markers. Rachel signs 4 helmets with her call sign and today's date. The pilots grin like kids at Christmas. "One more thing, ma'am," Kozlowski says. "When we land back at Hunter, the whole squadron's going to want to hear about this. Would you consider coming to give a talk? Nothing formal. Just, tell us how you think. How you made those calls today. We'd be grateful for the wisdom." Before Rachel can decline, General Thornton cuts in. "She'll be there, Lieutenant. I'll make sure of it." He gives Rachel a look that says this isn't a request. The Black Hawk crews salute again. Rachel returns it. They board their aircraft, spin up the rotors, and lift off in formation, 2 helicopters rising together into blue sky, their thunder fading as they angle back toward Hunter Army Airfield. Thornton walks Rachel back toward the terminal. "You know, refusing to help train the next generation is pretty selfish for someone who claims she cares about getting people home safely. That's manipulation, sir." "That's truth, Lieutenant Colonel. Those pilots worship you. What you know could make them better, keep them alive, help them save more soldiers. You willing to let that knowledge die with you because you're too proud to admit you miss it?" Rachel stops walking. "I don't miss it. Liar." Thornton's voice is gentle but firm. "You miss it every time you look at the sky. Every time you run through combat scenarios in your head instead of focusing on approach vectors. Every time you hear rotors and your heart rate spikes because some part of you still thinks you're going to war. That's not. Today you came alive again. I saw it. Those pilots saw it. Hell, your first officer saw it and he barely knows you. You became who you really are. And now you're going to go back to flying tourists to LaGuardia and pretending that's enough?" Rachel's jaw clenches. It has to be enough. Why? Because the alternative is going back to a life where people die screaming my name over the radio. Where I wake up every night hearing bullets punch through my aircraft. Where I carry the weight of every soldier I couldn't save. She's shouting now. 6 years of buried trauma coming up like a rip current. Thornton waits until she's done. "Then, you're carrying that weight anyway, Rachel. You're just carrying it alone instead of with people who understand. Today proved you still have what it takes. The question is, what are you going to do with it?" He hands her a card. "My direct number. When you're ready to talk, and you will be ready, eventually, call me. The door's always open for Falcon." He walks away, leaving Rachel standing alone on the tarmac with a business card and too many questions. The media finds out within hours. By the time Rachel and Ben give their statements to the FBI, CNN is running the story. Hero pilot stops hijacking, legendary military call sign revealed. Someone leaked. Someone always leaks. Rachel watches the news on a terminal TV while waiting for the FBI to process her credentials. There's her service photo from 12 years ago, younger, harder, wearing the Night Stalker's unit patch. There's footage of the Black Hawks escorting her aircraft. There's breathless commentary about one of America's most decorated combat pilots secretly flying commercial airlines. Her phone explodes with messages. Media requests. Interview offers. Book deals. A movie producer wants her life rights. She deletes them all. Ben sits next to her, equally numb. My girlfriend is texting me that I'm trending on Twitter. Apparently I'm the first officer who flew with a legend. People are making memes. Welcome to fame. It's terrible. How did you deal with it before? I didn't. I stayed classified. Special operations doesn't get profiled in magazines. When I resigned, I made sure my records were sealed. I just wanted to disappear into normal. Well, that's done now. Rachel leans back, closes her eyes. Yeah. That's done. Agent Ramirez returns with their paperwork. You're both clear to go. We have your statements, your contact information, and we'll be in touch as the investigation proceeds. Captain Torres, there's a press conference scheduled for 1,700 hours. The airline's senior management wants you there. Hard pass. Ma'am, with respect, you're a public figure now. The airline needs to control the narrative and... I said no. Ramirez looks like he wants to argue but thinks better of it. I'll let them know. But Captain, you should be aware, the passengers are talking to media. By tomorrow morning, every detail of what happened on that aircraft will be public. Your tactical coordination with military assets. Your call sign. Everything. Let them talk. I did my job. That's all that matters. But it's not all that matters, and Rachel knows it. The world doesn't let heroes stay anonymous. The world wants to know them, categorize them, turn them into symbols. She's about to become the story everyone tells about courage and skill and warriors who never really leave the battlefield. She hates it already. American Airlines puts them on a charter back to Miami. Just Rachel and Ben and a crew who keep staring at her like she's going to sprout wings and fly the plane herself. The flight is quiet, uncomfortable. Rachel spends it looking out the window, watching the Atlantic pass beneath. Somewhere down there, people are having normal days. Going to work. Picking up kids from school. Complaining about traffic. Living lives where the most dangerous thing they'll face is a bad driver or a stern email from their boss. She used to want that life. She thought she had it. Now she doesn't know what she has. When they land in Miami, there are news vans waiting at the employee entrance. Rachel sees the cameras and immediately diverts to a side door. Ben follows. You can't avoid them forever, he says. Watch me. She makes it to her car, a sensible Honda Accord, because dramatic war heroes drive sensible cars apparently, and sits in the driver's seat without starting the engine. Her hands are shaking again. Not from fear. Not from adrenaline. From the realization that she can't go back. Can't unknow what she learned today. Can't pretend she's just a commercial pilot when she knows she's still Falcon underneath. Her phone rings. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Captain Torres. This is Sarah Chen. The lead flight attendant from 634. Sarah. Are you okay? I'm. A long pause. I'm not okay. I watched someone die today. I keep seeing her face. But I'm alive because of you, so I'm better than I could be. Another pause. I called because the passengers are organizing. We want to do something for Mrs. Patterson, the woman who died. A memorial fund for her family. And we want you there when we present it to her husband. Rachel's throat is tight. I don't know if that's a good idea. You saved us. You kept that monster out of the cockpit even when it cost a life. Mr. Patterson told me what he said to you. He wants to thank you publicly. Please. Let him have closure. What can Rachel say to that? No, I don't want to face the husband of the woman who died because I wouldn't open the door. Text me the details, she says quietly. I'll be there. Thank you, Captain. Thank you for everything. Rachel drives home on autopilot. Her apartment is in Coconut Grove, a nice two-bedroom with a view of the bay. She decorated it in clean minimalist style, whites and grays and nothing that reminds her of combat zones. It's supposed to be her sanctuary. Tonight it feels like a museum to someone she used to be. She pours bourbon, doesn't drink it, just holds the glass and stares at the sunset painting the bay in orange and purple. Her phone keeps buzzing. Messages from people she hasn't spoken to in years. One catches her eye. Falcon, heard what you did today. Proud as hell. The old crew is buying drinks if you ever want to remember who you are. Nomad. Nomad. Chief Warrant Officer Marcus Nomad Chen, her co-pilot for 6 years. The man who flew into hell with her more times than she can count. The man who was with her on that final mission, bleeding from shrapnel wounds but still working the controls while she wrestled the damaged Black Hawk to the ground. She hasn't spoken to him since her resignation. Cut ties with everyone from that life because staying connected meant staying close to the trauma. But she hasn't forgotten them. She types a response, maybe. Need time to think. His reply is instant, take all the time you need. But don't disappear again. World needs Falcon. Rachel sets down her phone. Picks up the bourbon. Takes a sip. It burns going down, which is exactly what she needs. The sun sets completely, leaving her apartment dark except for the city lights reflecting off the bay. Somewhere out there, 197 people are going home to families they wouldn't have seen again if she'd made a different choice. Somewhere, a man is grieving a wife who believed in the pilot even as a knife found her throat. Somewhere, Black Hawk pilots are telling stories about the day they flew with a legend. And Rachel sits alone in the dark, wondering who she's supposed to be now that the world knows who she was. The memorial service for Jennifer Patterson is held in a small church in Brooklyn. 300 people attend, family, friends, passengers from Flight 634, crew members, and, standing quietly in the back, Captain Rachel Torres. She wears her airline uniform. No medals. No military insignia. Just the 4 stripes that mark her as a captain and the American Airlines wings that say she's supposed to keep people safe. She failed at that. Once. It's enough. Mr. Patterson speaks about his wife, her laugh, her kindness, her belief that people were fundamentally good. He talks about their last conversation, how she'd been excited to see the Statue of Liberty from the air, how she'd kissed him before boarding and said, "I love you more than the sky." Then he asks Rachel to come forward. She doesn't want to. Wants to stay hidden in the back where grief can't find her. But Sarah Chen catches her eye from the second row and nods encouragement. Rachel walks to the front. Faces 300 people who all know what happened at 37,000 feet. I didn't know Mrs. Patterson, Rachel begins. Her voice is quiet but carries. I never spoke to her. Never saw her face. But I know what she believed because her husband told me. She believed I wouldn't break. Wouldn't surrender to fear. Wouldn't trade the many for the few. She has to pause. Breathe. Continue. I made a choice that day. The hardest choice a pilot can make. I kept the cockpit door closed even when it meant someone would die. I don't know if that was the right choice. I just know it was the only choice that had any chance of saving everyone else. The church is silent. Mrs. Patterson's faith in me cost her life. But it also saved 197 others. That's not fair. That's not just. That's just what happened. And I have to carry that. We all have to carry that. She looks directly at Mr. Patterson. I'm sorry I couldn't save your wife. I'm sorry my training and my skills and my experience weren't enough to bring everyone home. I'm sorry that doing my job meant you lost the person you loved more than the sky. Mr. Patterson stands. Walks to Rachel. And hugs her. He whispers in her ear, she would have made the same choice. She was brave like that. She would have told you to save the others. Don't carry guilt for honoring her courage. Rachel's eyes burn but she doesn't cry. Not here. Not now. The service concludes. Passengers approach Rachel one by one, thanking her, hugging her, telling her she's a hero. She accepts it all with quiet grace, but inside she's screaming that heroes don't let people die. Except they do. That's what separates heroes from martyrs. Heroes make the impossible choices and live with the consequences. Outside the church, General Thornton is waiting. Beside him, for Black Hawk pilots in dress uniform. Lieutenant Colonel, Thornton says. The Army has a request. I already said. This isn't about coming back. It's about moving forward. He hands her a folder. The Night Stalkers want to create a training program for commercial pilots, emergency tactical coordination, threat assessment, crisis command. They want you to design it. Teach civilians how to think like combat pilots when situations go bad. Make sure the next captain facing a hijacker has the tools to respond. Rachel opens the folder. It's a full proposal, funding, timeline, curriculum outlines. Someone put serious thought into this. You could save thousands of lives, Thornton continues. Not by flying into war zones. By teaching others how to be calm in chaos. How to coordinate with military assets. How to make hard calls under pressure. That's what Falcon does best, brings everyone home. Rachel looks at the four pilots. They're watching her hopefully. Would I have to go back to active duty? Civilian contractor. You'd work with military but stay independent. Teach on your schedule, fly commercial the rest of the time. Best of both worlds. I need to think about it. Of course. But Captain, you're already doing it. Those Black Hawk crews tell every pilot they meet about your tactical coordination. Flight schools are calling asking for case studies. You became the example whether you wanted to or not. Question is, will you guide how that example is taught? Lieutenant Kozlowski steps forward. Ma'am, what you did saved lives. What you could teach us could save thousands more. That's worth coming back for. Not to war. To wisdom. Rachel looks at the folder again. Then at the church where 197 people are grieving one and celebrating that they're not grieving all. She thinks about Jennifer Patterson believing in her even with a knife at her throat. She thinks about the weight she's carried for 6 years, trying to forget who she was instead of accepting what it meant. She thinks about a call sign that never really retired, just waited for the moment it was needed again. I'll do it, Rachel says. On one condition. Name it. The program is named for Jennifer Patterson. The woman who believed in pilots when belief cost everything. She's the reason I made the choice I made. She deserves to be remembered. Thornton extends his hand. The Jennifer Patterson Memorial Training Program for Emergency Tactical Aviation. I like it. Welcome back, Falcon. They shake. It's not a return to war. It's not a surrender to the past. It's something new, a way to use hard-earned skills to prevent future tragedies. A way to turn one woman's death into lessons that might save thousands. As Rachel walks back to her car, Sarah Chen catches up to her. Captain. The passengers, we're all going to dinner. To celebrate being alive. Would you join us? Rachel's first instinct is to decline. To stay separate. To maintain the distance between pilot and passengers. But she's tired of distance. Tired of pretending she's someone she's not. I'd like that, she says. And for the first time in 6 weeks, Rachel smiles. Because she's learning what General Thornton tried to tell her, you can't take the pilot out of combat, but you can teach that pilot new missions. You can honor the fallen by making sure their deaths mean something. You can be legendary and human and broken and whole all at the same time. Falcon doesn't retire. Falcon evolves. And tonight, Rachel, Falcon, Torres is going to have dinner with people who are alive because she made an impossible choice and lived with the consequences. That's not redemption. That's not closure. That's just the next mission. And she's ready to fly it.